Here's part 2 of day 18 of Advent of Code. In this part, we take our solution from part 1 and we see that we now have some advanced math to do, and we need to take into consideration that addition now has a different precedence level than multiplication. Unlike what we're used to, addition is now evaluated before multiplication. So whereas before we were evaluating left to right, we now have to consider addition to take precedence. So the 1 plus 2 would happen, the 3 plus 4 would happen, and the 5 plus 6 would happen, and then it would all get multiplied together. This seems a little daunting at first, but I think because of the way we solved part 1, we can make some minor modifications to the nested part of our solution, and I think we can work towards an answer here. So yeah, with this flat expression here in part 1, where we're taking, any two operands in an operator and combining them, mathing them, if you will, we're basically taking these left to right based on how this flat expression is operating. So I think we can just rework this a little bit, maybe have a second while loop, and we can have plus be evaluated before multiplication is evaluated. So let's save this over as part 2.ruby. And yeah, where do we want to start here? I guess one interesting thing I'm noticing is that the while true actually can just be while matches equals, because if this match isn't a match, it'll get nil. And I think that'll still just work. Yeah, that's the same answer as we had in part 1. And I wonder if we can do a similar thing down here. While matches. So now we don't need this guard clause down here. Instead, we can just return the expression string outside of the while. And we still get the same answer. Now, the reason that seemed useful is because I think we can have like a plus flat expression and a multiply flat expression. And what we'll do is we'll look for just the plus operator, like that. And here we'll look for just the multiplication operator. And so for each iteration, if we match the expression string and there's a plus, then we would like to add the things on the left and right of that plus, which is what public send will continue to do with that operator match. And then eventually this will sort of churn through all of the pluses and there will be no pluses left, and we'll exit the while loop. And it's at that point that I would like to then evaluate any multiplications that show up. So I will put in multiply flat expression like that, and it will do the same thing but with the multiplication. And eventually, eventually we'll return, but I think, this return is actually going to return us out of the method. And what we want to do is exit out of the loop. What is there? There's next and continue. I'm trying to remember. Maybe exit a while loop. There's a keyword for it. Break. Okay. Break will break us out of the while loop. Okay. So if the rest is empty, then break us out of here. And it's at that point that we want the operation result, because before we were returning the operation result, I guess if we set the expression string to be operation result plus rest, it's an empty string, so it won't really make any difference. And then, oops, and then we can break out of here. Otherwise, we'll keep looping around until we do reduce rest down. Okay, and so I think the same thing can happen down here. So I'll just copy that and replace it. And yeah, I think that might just work. What happens if we run that? It does not work. Plus, no implicit conversion of nil into string. So that's unfortunate. We are ending up line 32. Yeah, we're ending up on line 32 where some piece of this is nil. So who would be returning? We would be returning nil right here because we didn't put expression string as the return value. And now we're getting a number coming out. It's quite a bit smaller than this one. That might follow if we do all the addition first and then we multiply. I don't know. It's hard to say. We'll just have to plug it in and see. Yeah, that's not the answer. It's too low. Okay, it did seem a little low. Yeah, that's interesting. So, we gotta see what we did wrong here. So the multiplication, is it possible that's not doing? No, this looks good. It's taking the operator, any number of digits, or the operand, which is a number of digits. It's looking for the multiplication operator, and then any, it's this start string, end string that's throwing it off. We're not, I think, evaluating everything that we want to be evaluating. And to say a little bit more about what I mean there, if we get to a point where our expression looks like 4 times 3 plus 2, this plus regular expression is not going to match here because we have a start of the string, a digit, and then our operator is multiplication. So we're going to break out of this while loop early and end up down here. Yeah, that's too bad. No, that's fine actually. Because we were evaluating this left to right before, we needed to start at the beginning of the string, but we can ditch that now. We can ditch that. Maybe the end of string distinction is fine. We just want to find some piece of the expression that looks like this. Yeah. I guess then maybe we lose the rest. as well. And we're going to have to sort of combine the pre and post strings like we did in the part down here. So, similar to this. So if we take our matches, we take our operation result, and instead of doing the rest, we want to say that the expression string now, matches pre-match plus the operation result. And then we append that to the post match. And I guess if matches pre-match equals that, and matches post-match equals empty string, that's when we should break out. I kind of like the feel of that. We do the same thing for the multiply. So presumably at this point we've actually exhausted all of the pluses now. So we get down to here, we exhaust all of the multiplications, and then we return our expression string. Yeah, okay, so I'm going to save that and give this a run. Undefined group name reference rest. Oh, whoops. I just needed to get rid of that altogether because we're updating the expression string here. Now that's a number that looks like it could be plausible. It's a lot bigger than that. It's more in the range of here. It's actually bigger, which makes sense because we do the plus then the multiplication. Let's plug that in, return to day 18. And there we go, got our gold star. Awesome. Yeah, I'm glad we didn't have to stretch the solution from part 1 too much further. It was nice that it fell out in that nested bit of operator logic. Anyway, thanks for watching, and we'll see you tomorrow for day 19.